Hey everyone, it's Andy, and we're reading through the book of Exodus, chapters 23 and 24 today. It's another bag of Cracker Jack crazy. I don't want to give anything away, but Moses and his buddies sit down with God and have a dinner party in chapter 24. Yeah, it's party time on the side-eye. I hope you had a chance to watch the recent episode of Best Advice Ever. I sat down with stand-up comedian, author, podcaster, and dad, Nathan Timmel. Nathan offered tons of insight on how to make a living as a comedian and how to navigate a marriage or any long-term romantic relationship. Let's start with chapters 23 and 24 in the book of Exodus. Laws of justice and mercy. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a guilty person by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd. And do not show favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit. It's funny, they don't say don't show favoritism to the rich person. If you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to return it. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you has fallen down under its load, do not leave it there. Be sure you help them with it. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits, but you can't favor them overly, I guess. I don't know. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for it will not acquit the guilty. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see the words of the innocent. Do not oppress a foreigner. Well, that seems to be written for someone's president. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners, because you are foreigners in Egypt. The Sabbath laws. For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops. But during the 7th year, let the land lie unplowed and unused. Then the poor among your people may get food from it, and the wild animals may eat what is left. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days do your work, but on the 7th day do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest. Very sensitive for the oxes and the donkeys. And so that the slave born in your household and the foreigner living among you may be refreshed. Be careful to do everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. A lot about worshiping other gods, not a lot about rape. The 3 annual festivals, there's 3 agricultural festivals. 3 times a year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. For 7 days eat bread made without yeast, as I commanded you. Do this at the appointed time in the month of Aviv, for in that month you came out of Egypt. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. If God had it just, he'd be doing that right now. Celebrate the festival of harvest with the first fruits of the crops you sow in your field. Celebrate the festival of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in your crops from the field. 3 times a year all the men are to appear before the sovereign Lord. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me along with anything containing yeast. He really hates yeast. I wonder what the history is between Yahweh, and yeast. The fat of my festival offerings must not be kept until morning. He likes his fresh fat. He doesn't like it until the morning. Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Some kind of weird incest thing between a goat and mother's milk. God's angel to prepare the way. See, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and to bring you to a place I have prepared. Pay attention to him and listen to what he says. Do not rebel against him. He will not forgive your rebellion, since my name is in him. If you listen carefully to what he says and do all what I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies and will oppose those who oppose you. My angel will go ahead of you and bring you into the land of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I will wipe them out. Do not bow down before their gods or worship them or follow their practices. You must demolish them and break their sacred stones to pieces. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessing will be on your food and water. I will take away sickness from you, and none will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you a full lifespan. Sounds like a lot of promises he can't keep. I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn their backs and run. I will send the hornet ahead of you to drive the Hivites, the Canaanites, the Hittites out of your way. He didn't say the Jebusites there. Must be another insect for them. But I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land would become desolate and the wild animals too numerous for you. Very generous. Little by little, I will drive them out before you. You know, I was thinking about the colonization of the West Bank, about little by little, that line, until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. I will establish your borders from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. I will give into your hands the people who live in the land, and you will drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or their gods, which of course we know that that's what they did. Do not let them live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will certainly be a snare to you. Interesting thing about the wise Solomon, he had allowed worshiping of other gods. But that's another thing. Let's continue. The covenant confirmed. Then the Lord said to Moses, come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. You are to worship at a distance. But Moses alone is to approach the Lord, and others must not come near, and the people may not come up with him. When Moses went and told the people all the Lord's words and laws, they responded with one voice, everything the Lord has said we will do. Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. He got up early the next morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. And then he sent young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed young bulls, because God likes the smell of fat, as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and put it in the bowls, and the other half he splashed against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people. They responded, we will do everything the Lord he has said. We will obey. Moses then took the blood, sprinkled it on the people. That's not sanitary. And said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. I don't think I would want to be involved with the blood being sprinkled on people. That's just weird. Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel went up and saw the God of Israel. Under his feet was something like a pavement made of lapis lazuli, which is, I guess, precious, as bright blue as the sky. But God did not raise his hand against the leaders of the Israelites. They saw God, and they ate and drank, maybe from a picnic basket. I don't know. The Lord said to Moses, come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and commandments I have written for their instruction. Then Moses set out with Joshua at his side, and Moses went up to the mountain of God. He said to the elders, wait here for us until we come back to you. Aaron and Hur, H-U-R, are with you, and anyone involved with a dispute can go to them. When Moses went up on the mountain, the cloud covered it, the cloud of God, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai for 6 days. The cloud covered the mountain. And on the 7th day, the Lord called to Moses from within the cloud, Moses, come here. To the Israelites, the glory of the Lord looked like a consuming fire on top of the mountain. Then Moses entered the cloud, and he went on up the mountain. And he stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. very reminiscent of Jesus' time in the wilderness, which the New Testament authors kind of took from that. Well, that's another 2 chapters gone. I think the next 2 chapters may feature a golden calf and some good old-fashioned divine rage. Good times in the good book, my peoples. Thanks for watching. Please upvote and subscribe. Please be good to each other. Bye.